Flash is brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still, fun papa fee.
It's a beautiful Wednesday morning. If you're joining us here for the first time, a big thank you and welcome to Prime Morning here on this very channel that brings you nothing but the very best. So don't forget that we're still celebrating Ghana Fest, Ghana Month, and we've got so much that we're going to be doing that we want you to be a part of. So we'll be bringing you updates on some of the things that you need to expect on this channel as far as Ghana Month celebration is concerned. We've got special things for you, including the Gomwa Central Grand Carnival, which is a 4-day national cultural entertainment and lifestyle event that we'll be telling you more about here on the show. It's a festival that will be staged over the Easter weekend in Gomwa Central constituency. Don't forget the carnival blends heritage, royalty, street culture, music, visual arts, tourism, and brand activation into one destination experience. And it is something that you do not want to miss at all. And so the official launch will be today at the Labadi Beach Hotel at 5 p.m. And right after the launch, we're going to zoom in into all the other activities that will be, happening before the main experience itself from the 2nd to the 5th of April 2026. I'll be telling you more about that here on the show. But of course, Newsflash is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise, Still Phones, Papa Pavie, Kowa Natural Fruit Juice, also supporting us this morning as well. But if you needed to change your phone, if you need another phone, if you needed to show some love to someone out there by gifting that person the phone, the best place you can get for the person to be excited about is Franco Trading Enterprise. These days, people actually ask you where you got their gift for them, and sometimes depending on where you got a gift, they're even more elated than they would normally be. So please do well and grab your gift from Franco Trading Enterprise, and trust me, it's the best place you want to do that. If you want CCTV cameras, if you want a television, microwave, blenders, so all of these you can get when you get to Franco Trading Enterprise. Still, phones, Papa, if you do well to download the app, it's Google Play Store, it's the Franco Trading app on Google Play Store, and also do well to visit our website www.francotrading.com, and you can also get all the updates that you need over there in terms of our branches, in terms of where the things that we have in store for you and all of that. Yes, Franco Trading Enterprise is definitely your number one best bet if you need quality appliances, and that's what we're telling you now. Please don't pick numbers on social media to do business with us. Always try as much as possible to visit our website or the app, and you can get our numbers there. You can call us on that any day. Franco Trading Enterprise says Still Phones, Papa Pavie. Let me bust your mind. Trust me on this one. Now, cocoa farmers are elated, and they are very elated because you motivate them to always go ahead and plants and go through all the processes that would eventually ensure that we get to have cocoa here. And that is because you're patronizing Kowa Natural Fruit Juice, which is proudly Ghanaian, made right here in Ghana, and it's your best anytime you want to quench your thirst during the day. And also don't forget to enjoy the taste from that cocoa with Kowa Natural, a healthy juice that is made from the white pulp that surrounds the cocoa beans. And this drink is here for you. It's a family thing. Your loved ones, your friends, make sure you all enjoy it. Naturally refreshing and stimulating every taste bad. Kowa Natural Fruit Juice is proudly Ghanaian, and it goes a long way to motivate the Ghanaian cocoa farmer. Do right sip by sip, and that's what we say. Thank you so much for putting your dials over here and staying with us. This is Newsflash on Prime Morning, and we're going to be getting into the major conversations. The Ayawaso East constituency elections happened yesterday. Baba Jamal is the MP-elect for that constituency. Proud to that, we had the internal elections, which brought lots of issues. There was supposed to have been sanctioning. The NDC party sat down, cleared him, and he moved on to the main elections, which he's won. We're going to be looking at that conversation here on the show, so do well and send your messages to us. And also, we'll look at the front pages of the newspapers and what have been reported so far. We'll share that with you. My guests have joined me in studio, and don't forget that it's the President's directive that we all wear fugu on Wednesday. So pretty much this set this morning will be a fugu set. From what I've seen so far, it's going to be a fugu set this morning. So yes. Before we get into that, let me quickly run through the front pages of the newspapers. I'll introduce my guest and then we'll move on into the substantive issues. Daily Graphic is here this morning and it says that Graphic Business Stanbic Forum, transport sector needs stronger framework. That is Maoko Afechino speaking on that. Baba Jamal wins Ayawaso East constituency seat and 1,201 public workers cleared for recruitment, and that's on the front page of the Daily Graphic. Away from that, the Chronicle is here and it says that Osahen touts NPP's pro-poor policies, credits Kufuor and Akufo-Addo for introducing NHIS, school feeding, free SHS, free fertilizers for cocoa farmers, etc. And that's Afinyomakin, the minority speaker in Parliament, speaking on that. NDC stalwarts mourn with Sami Jemfi for the 1 week celebration of the passing of his in-law and father-in-law, the quite an unfortunate situation. And we condole with the family, sincere condolences going to him and the entire family as well. Away from that, minority takes cocoa price fight to the farms. That's also captured by the Chronicle newspaper this morning. Let's get into the Daily Gist. And it says NDC sacked 2,080 workers after winning 2024 election. And minority takes cocoa price fight to farms. Joe Gatti visits Baumia, calls for unity ahead of 2028. And MIF 2024 financial report finally out. And Baka Vomowo has slapped with 5.1 million Ghana cedis damages for defaming Kandapa. Alpha Hour Church arson suspect for psychiatric test. That's also captured by the Daily Gist this morning. Away from that, the Accra Times is here. And it says that Mahama walks the talk, turns Ghana into construction site with 73 projects across all 16 regions, and reinforcing Parliament's leadership role in international development. National development. Bagman holds Speakers Breakfast Forum today, and government boosts tourism and creative arts with 40 million Ghana cedis funding, infrastructure drive as well, and strengthening Ghana-Burkina Faso language education. UNIMAC IL submits proposal to Education Ministry. And also Cocoa Board Deputy CEO rubbishes old Tafu MP's claims. So that's the Accra Times. Now let's get to the last one. The publisher, the Ghanaian publisher, is here. And it says NPP is Ghana's democratic pillar. Afinyomakin says so. Minority MPs storm cocoa farms over price cut, and First Lady NDC gurus mourn with Sami Jemfi, and the government summons Coca over tribal comments. That's also captured by the Ghanaian publisher this morning here on news that are making rounds on the front page of the newspapers. Well, we're going to be getting into the major conversation, like I said, and joining me in studio, I've got my two guests here already with me. The other one will also be joining pretty soon. But let me quickly introduce them, and then we'll take it from there. Atick Yakubu is the NPP Communications Team Member, and he's here with me this morning. Also, Dawn in his very beautiful fuku, and I want to believe that it's also part of the directive. Atick, how are you doing, bro?
I'm good, and you?
Oh, great. We're fine. And you look good in your fugu as well. You pretty okay. I have a similar one.
They have a pack of them.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I see. I've got about not less than 6.
I have more than that.
Oh, so it means you wear it a lot. Even before the directive.
You know, when I'm in a hurry and I don't need to do the iron, I don't want to do the iron. I just
Fantastic. Yes. Yes, it works perfectly.
I have a pack of them, a lot of them, a lot.
You should bring me some.
Somebody even brought me about 3 new ones. I just placed it somewhere. I don't even remember where I placed.
No, go and look for them because I'll be coming for them. I sit here every Wednesday, so I will need them.
Okay.
So I want to make sure that I wear it every Wednesday, so I need to get them.
Right,
so look for them and let me have it.
I hear you.
Okay, great. I'm grateful for your time, by the way, and thanks for making it this morning. Also here with me is Raymond Adam Tamaklo, his cabinet spokesperson, also joining me this morning. Adam, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. It's been a very long while.
I know.
I hope you are well too.
we can't complain.
I'm happy to hear. I'm happy to hear. I'm also very happy that this morning my brother is observing as well, as part of all of us, is observing the directive from the government to wear fugu on Wednesday. He's showing that he's a patriotic citizen, and I'm happy about that.
Very well. And I'm sure you also, be putting on the fugu this morning. And yes, we're all going to ensure that it happens. And I know that celebrating Ghana Month as well would even, add more of substance to it. I know most people out there would also be rocking their own traditional, clothes because it's a Ghana Month. And so please do well. Just put a bit of Ghana in you. It could be anything. It could be our music, our food. Let's eat local food. I've been eating Ghanaian food. In fact, yesterday I did some kobe. Today I'm looking at some yam and kobe with kontomire stew and all of that. I'm just planning the week based on what I would eat. They should definitely be Ghanaian food. So you can also do same, and let's see how best we can push this country forward. But you can join us. Our WhatsApp line is active. You can send your messages there. We'll be reading them. And also we're streaming live on Facebook. So you can also go there and share your experience and your thoughts with us here on the show. We'll read all of your messages. Yesterday, the candidate of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, Baba Jamal, was declared the winner of the just ended Ayawaso East by-election. This was announced by the Electoral Commission on Tuesday evening last night. Supporters of Baba Jamal erupted in jubilant celebrations across the constituency following the official declaration. Now, the by-election held to fill the vacancy left by the death of the late MP Nasser Toure Mahama in January, saw voters across numerous polling stations head to the polls to vote. Four other candidates were also on the ballot, comprising of Baba Ali Yusuf of the New Patriotic Party, Ibrahim Idrisu of the Liberal Party of Ghana, LPG, and two independent candidates, and Alhaji Muhammad Umaru Sanda and David Kano, which all of them were present during the declaration. Now, the projections were actually suggested a commanding advantage for Baba Jamal, but unfortunately, due to low turnout votes, the 75% that was earlier predicted by Global Info Analytics did not happen. He did a bit lesser, in terms of the voting. And so we're going to be looking at that conversation this morning. Let me start off with you, Raymond. Do you think this is a victory well deserved? Looking at the process he has to go through, losing his, position as ambassador to Nigeria, coming through to face disciplining committee because they felt there were certain misconduct during the primary internal elections, and eventually, becoming the MP elect.
Thank you very much to you. Good morning to our cherished viewers, those who are watching us on TV and those who are streaming online. And so I want to thank the people of Ayawaso East for reposing that confidence, that level, that amount of confidence in Baba Jamal, the NDC's representative, to represent them in Parliament. I'm happy and I'm very confident that the promises that Baba Jamal made to the people, consequence to which they repose that confidence in him, he is going to make a very good account of himself in Parliament, in representing the people very competently in a way that inures to the fundamental and collective interest of the people of Ayawaso East. And so, yes, I would say that it is a deserving victory for Baba Jamal. All that he's been through, like you've rightly pointed to. But the point must also be made that the rigorous processes that he had been subjected to by the party was all for the overall good, of the people of Ayawaso East, for our electoral system, and for the governance and democracy we practice in Ghana. Our democracy has been enduring since the inception of the Fourth Republic. Some of the things we saw in the primaries were matters that has always been concerning to all of us. And so the NDC, very typical of the NDC, we do not like to play the ostrich. And so if it is white, it is white. If it is black, it is black. And so it was very good. It was very necessary that we pointed out, some of those things that did not go so well and address them as we should as a political party. Because as stakeholders in our democracy, we must conduct ourselves, we must uphold the true principles of democracy, of our constitution. And so, yes, while I would say that it is deserving, it was also proper that he was subjected to those measures. But what is more important is the fact that he has been elected. The people of Ayawaso East have reposed a resounding amount of confidence in him. He won 63% of the vote. Pardon me. The NPP got 23% of the vote. He had about 10,800 plus votes.
That was expected out of 17,000 voters.
Yes.
That was expected because it's an NDC struggle.
Yes, as against.
It didn't play
as against. Role? Yeah, of course, it did play an important role. But like you were saying, the projections were that he was going to get above 70%. That did not happen. I surmise that it may probably also be because of the other NDC candidates who had, jump boats to contest as an independent candidate. And so that obviously, if anyone does any cursory, appraisal of the results and the proceedings that happened on the ground yesterday, the commonsensical conclusion or deduction to draw is settling that the candidature of Umar Sanda affected that of Baba Jamal. Another concern about the election had to do with the low voter turnout.
Yeah.
You also mentioned that in your introduction. There are several reasons. I want to take the wind out of his sail because I know once you give him the opportunity, he would say that the low voter turnout is because people are losing confidence.
You want to preempt it?
Of course, I want to preempt that. I want to be proactive in preempting that. I want to take the wind out of his sail. And so there are a plethora of reasons as to why there was low voter turnout yesterday, as we saw in the election. One, typical of every by-election, there is always a low voter turnout. Secondly, it is Ramadan. And so people are fasting. Ayawaso East has a lot of Muslims.
Yeah,
it is dominated by Muslims. And these people are fasting. And so during the fasting period, you would find that Muslims would rather want to be in the confines of their home, preserve energy, and as much as possible, stay holy, before Allah. That is one of the reasons as well. We can also point to the fact that it is, a working day. And so people who are workers would have to be at work. And so supposing that you work between the periods of 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., then it means that you may not be able to participate in the election. Also, there are a lot of reasons, like I've already pointed, that amounted to the low voter turnout. Also, a key factor is complacency. That Global Info Analytics had come to say that Baba Jamal was going to win the election by over 70%. And so for some people, because Baba Jamal is winning the election by over 70%, there was no need to go and vote. And that complacency showed yesterday. And so it would be ludicrous, for me, it would be ludicrous to say that the low voter turnout would be because the people have lost any goodwill in the government. That is not a fact. And so if anybody comes to sit here and tell us that it is because people have lost interest in our government and the government is not performing, that is an outright lie. And we deserve more credit than those people, the proponents of those narrative are proffering or advancing.
I'll get back to you again, but let me find out from Atick also what he makes of what happened yesterday. Eventually, in fact, a lot of people suggested that they shouldn't even contest in the first place, but they made a decision that they're still going to go ahead and contest. Were you impressed?
Well, first of all, good morning to the viewers. And I'm very much particular about two issues. All right. First one has to do with the treatment of Baba Jamal during the primaries and after the primaries. When my friend was speaking, he said, for them, unlike some of us, they wouldn't like to play the ostrich. But Ray, is it the first time that your party has gone to a parliamentary primaries and you guys have shared money? shared goodies to people. This is not the first time. You've done it. Why is it that you never called those who did it? Let's not forget that just 6 months ago, 7 months ago, there was another by-elections in Akwetia, and that's my constituency. That's where Baba Jama also comes from. 6 months ago, 7 months ago, there was a by-election in Akwetia. We all saw the videos of his own party people chanting that they were not going to vote for Bernard Bediako because he bought the election with money. We also the videos. The videos are all over. I can even get you some from TikTok right now. All over the place. Why is it that when those people were ranting and also making all those chants and noise, your party leadership didn't call for an investigation into the conduct of that NDC parliamentary primary?
Yeah.
Why is it that his party never did it? So when you talk about you not playing ostrich here, I'll disagree with you. You guys have always been the ostrich. You see, it is just like currently, because of their will-be presidential primaries, everything is tilted towards that line. Even issues of employment for their own people is tilted towards whether you support this or you support that. It's happening in their party. No. It's happening in their party. We are all aware. I have friends there. I know people who are CEOs and deputy CEOs.
Is that internal politics?
That is internal politics. What happened at Ayawaso East had to do with internal politics. If not for that, how come that there was the first one? You didn't speak about it. But this one, you guys went all out because the system candidate, the establishment candidate, that is the late MP's wife, yeah. The late MP's wife, all right, couldn't win the elections. It was all because of that. So let's just penalize Baba Jama. Let's just put him there. But if you assess the issues very well,
yeah.
Whether somebody shared Gary or shared below, somebody shared sugar, and you shared TV sets, you all shared. Just that, maybe some of the goodies that you were supposed to share, you couldn't share more than him, and he beat you.
But that's a general problem.
That is the
political parties.
The accounts have a saying that this is not ours. We are done with ours. So it is theirs. It is their issue. So it is their issue on the table, and we have to talk about it.
Yeah.
I think that the way the things went within their party wasn't cool.
Okay.
I don't think Baba Jamal deserve the treatment that they meted on him.
Okay.
Because if not for anything, this person has been, I think, a deputy secretary or so.
Yeah, he's gone
years ago. Then former propaganda secretary, then went through, stood on the ticket of your party from 2000 election, lost to Chairman Kisi. Then 2004, lost to Kisi again. 2008, lost to Kofi Asare. 2012, then he was able to win. Then lost to Amase in 2016. Then he moved to Nima. The guy has suffered. What do you guys need from the guy? And my biggest problem is that I feel like because of how things went within the presidential primaries and the upcoming presidential primaries, the issues that are coming up, the divisions that are happening, I do not see Baba Jamal. Of course, I do not see Baba Jamal getting the government largesse or being able to get infrastructure project or certain initiative from government for his constituency.
Even as he has won.
No.
The party will still look down.
When it comes to internal politics, you see, the world doesn't...
And this is somebody that is representing a party that is supposed to be working to benefit the constituency, which would eventually translate into the overall votes, that presidential vote.
Big men are playing ego and pride politics. They don't care about your interests.
Really?
Oh, of course, that is the fact. They don't care about your interests.
But if Baba Jamal loses in the constituency, the party loses.
But they know
the party will need those votes.
Do you think they really care? Haven't you checked elections over the years? They don't really care about that. It's about their pride and ego. That's what's happening, and that's what's going to happen. Look, I said that even in your party, currently, we have the chairman caucus and the presidential caucus. That is, the chairman caucus has to do with those that they feel like these people align with us. So when it is their issue, it is their interest, they will all go and protect. When it's the interest issue about the presidential, they also look at that way. They won't talk about it. They also look at that way. Check. When we had the Akwetia by-election, you saw all the cream de la creme move to Akwetia, stayed there for weeks, campaigning for Bernard Bediako. When we had the Ablukman,
yeah.
You saw all of them moving in.
Yeah.
It's in Accra. So let's even use that as an example. It's in Accra. You saw all of them moving in. to make sure that they secure just about 20-something polling stations for their even for their party.
But I think you can't compare Agwetia and Abu.
There's a comma. There's a comma. There's a comma.
Ayawaso East.
There's a comma.
It's an NDC thing.
There's a comma. Let me end with the full stop.
And Abu.
No. There's a comma. Let me end with the full stop. Okay. All right. So when you check Nima, all right, or Ayawaso East. It was that same expectation that I was expecting, or some of us were expecting, that they will also all move in to go support Baba Jamal. You see, when it comes to by-election, it's about solidarity. It's not about whether the person can win or lose. We moved there, we went to Ayawaso East with a mindset that we are not going to win it. We knew we are not going to win it. It's a fact. We knew. We all went in knowing that we are not going to win it. But you have our party big goons all moving in. It's about solidarity. I'm talking about the solidarity that they've given to others. Baba
so whether we know you win or not, we should still come and show support to you.
Baba Jamal didn't.
When we know that it's a clear indication that you're going to be winning.
But the others, let's take Kumu for instance. Let's take Kumu for instance. You saw all NPP big wigs moving there because we were going to win it, but everybody went there. It is more like whenever by-election happens, it is expected of all party faithfuls across the country moving and show solidarity, whether we win or lose. As long as the party is there, we move in. Okay. By-election also gives us the avenue to do assessment of our party strength and what our opponents are going to be doing. That's what by-election does for us. You understand? So it was just all of them moving in to show solidarity to Baba Jamal. They didn't do it. You only saw the big rigs that you saw, the chairman and the secretary throughout. Moving in. I mean, the leaders of one faction of their party in the will-be presidential primaries, moving in and just doing all the work. Hardly do we see the government faction. Some of them pass through 1 or 2 days to the elections just for the cameras. But in the real sense, there's a big there's a big crack within their party, and it all has to do with the impending presidential primaries. It's expected of him to deny all and say that no, everything is cool, everything is right. It's expected. I agree. It's your work. That's what you need to do. You cannot say that yes, what I am saying are the gospel truth. Because the moment you admit that it's a gospel truth and you step out of the studio, the calls will come to your phone. So you have to deny it.
But are you impressed with the performance that your party candidates made? I'm
very, very, very impressed with the performance. You know why I'm very, very, very impressed with it? We had 23% in a by-election at Ayawaso East, where we know we are going to lose. We knew about it. Then you had other people also picking up 20%. That's a big number. Considering the opposition party having 23, then other people putting together having 20%. I think it was 20% also.
Yeah.
I stand to be correct on that. So that makes like around 43% of people with a dissenting opinion. That's a big number. That is something that there's something brewing within their party that they are not seeing it. You see, I am a die-hard NPP. There's no way that I'll change my vote. I'll either stay in my house and not go vote for the person, the NPP person, which it's unlikely that I'll ever do such a thing. But at worst case, no matter how embittered I'll be, no matter how, I'd rather stay in my house than go vote for NDC. But these are people who decided to have an option to go vote for a different person. That's a deep crack within their party in that constituency. When you raise he said he also raised the issue that the people are also saying, people are saying that there's an issue of apathy. So that is why there was a low voter turnout and all that. You see, you can't take that one to out. Even if it makes 0.1%, it's still a percentage. Even if it's 1% of apathy, it's still percentage. You cannot tell me that the moment you come to power, you're going to get me a job and I don't get a job, and I'll come and queue and vote for you. That is a factor. Secondly, he also made the point that because it's a fasting period, then, bro, that's not true. When you are fasting as a Muslim, you still carry on with your activities and your duties. Fasting doesn't mean that you're just going to be in your house and be praying. You still go about your work. Even those Muslims who are mining at the mining site, they still know the Galamsey site, the mining site, legal mining site. they still go there, do their work. When it's 6 o'clock, they break their fast. So if people really wanted to go vote, they would have gone to vote. So he cannot discount an issue of apathy because he knows very well. So let me tell you something. What will take the NDC to opposition will not be NPP. It is NDC as a party that will take the NDC to opposition in 2028. And it's going to be more from their youth.
And is that what you're seeing?
Oh, that's
based on what happened with the elections, is that what you're seeing?
Based on what happened in that this by-election, and based on what happened in our general elections, our issue was apathy. When you take the 2020 elections, right, the voter turnout was 78% for the 2020 election. When you compare it to the 2024 elections, the voter turnout was 63%, a drop of 15%. A drop of 15%. When you pick the vote that President Mahama had, and you check it with that of President Akufo-Addo, check it with that of Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia, you realize that President Mahama appreciated, I think, over 250 votes or so. Some say it's less. It means that our own party people just didn't go vote. And what was their problem? Apathy. Unfortunately for you, apathy happens in government. Apathy doesn't happen in opposition. Because in opposition, everyone is struggling to get the party back to power. In power, everybody is struggling to get something to eat from the table. Everybody's trying to have a slice of the cake. So that is part of the problem. There's no way that they will go into 2028 election without thinking of apathy or making room for that issue of apathy. Because the moment they make that mistake and say all is well, in fact, you will not get 41%, you might get 35%. That is the uncomfortable truth. Apathy is playing a role in this government. And Ray can deny it, but then he should open his WhatsApp page and go to their WhatsApp groups across the country. All you hear are lamentations of job. He's aware of it. He's very much aware of it, unless he wants to deny it, which is also expected of him. To either deny it or give a false hope that, oh, we are working, we've employed a lot of people, things will get fine, people should, government has recently passed the 24-hour economy act, we are going to employ people, unless he wants to go by that tangent. But you see, what we learned in power was that hope doesn't feed people. When you are in power, you don't preach hope. For me, I was against the campaign mantra, because our campaign message then was bold solution for the future, but the campaign mantra, it is possible. I was against it. The reason why I was against it is that when you are in power, you don't preach hope. Get it done. When you're opposition, that's when you preach hope. Because if NDC is in power right now, and they are telling the Ghanaian people that we are going to be giving you one job, 3 shifts, 3 people, and you check the public sector workers now, we are approximately 700,000. When you double it with the 133, you have another 1.4 million, all right, adding up. In opposition, you can make this pronouncement to them. In power, you don't make those pronouncements. They are excuses. They call them excuses. No hope. Excuses. So you cannot preach hope in power. You can only preach hope in opposition. So if he has his time, which he's going to have his time soon, I know he's going to come with the issue of, in part of addressing the issues that are raised, he's going to talk about issue of hope. That things are going to be well, things are going to be better. So people have been employed, and we should give them some time. They will employ their party people. You see, I'm not concerned so much about the Ghanaian youth because I know they won't get a job. I'm more concerned about your party youth because I have some friends there. When they are better off, I'll go to them and take some money.
And all those people are not getting the jobs too. So you firmly believe that, and this is with regards to what Afenyomakin said, if we're supposed to conduct elections today, you firmly believe that the NPP would win? I
firmly believe. You see, yes, I firmly
believe. That's what your minority
I firmly believe.
He said if we were supposed to conduct elections today.
I have a friend by name Isaiah Nasara. When we were in power, he told me something. He said, you guys are losing the elections. I said, forget yourself. You know, definitely. Even if you have the fact, you will just rubbish it. Then he said, you see, he said, I didn't expect us losing 2016 elections. He said, I didn't expect us losing 2016 election, but I have learned from experience. And he added, when you are in power and you are losing elections, you don't see it because the power will be doing you logo before you realize you are down. So Where they are now.
So that's how the NDC is feeling.
Oh, they are in the Logoligi movement.
And it means that if we conduct an election right now, today, NPP will win.
Oh, we win. Let me tell you something.
After everything.
Check the Gazette results. Check the Gazette results in the parliamentary. You will find out that constituencies that NPP lost between 1 to 31 constituencies, 1 to 2,500, are just 31 constituencies. Constituencies that they lost between 2,500 to 5,000 are 32. That is 63 in all. Added to the 87 that we have in parliament. That's a huge number. And they are going to also have issues of internal rift during their parliamentary elections. They are in power. You see, when you are in opposition, it's easy for you to make reconciliation because both of you all have nothing doing. You all have the common goal, coming back to power. But when you are in power, you have varied interests. So before you get somebody to the table, the person needs to know what is on the table for me. But in opposition, me and you are with the floor, you're asking me what is on the table for you. We are all down. We are all down. You're asking what's on the table for you. There's nothing on the table for you. Let's just go and work. It's as simple as that. So for me, I do not see them making any way in the 2028 election. It's going to be very tough, especially when you are coming with a product that's never been marketed before. They can't discount that. Even within their party, they know very well. I know that within the leadership of their party, the upper echelon, those who are upper echelon, they would have thought that they will also have an early presidential election like we had. They wish. But it's unfortunate that because of the so many varied interests within their presidential primaries, it's going to be very, very difficult for them. When you even check the directive that recently came from there, is it a FEC also? I don't know whether they have after FEC, they have National Council also. There was a directive that came out of it. The directive was that all those who hold government positions and want to contest for executive positions that's within the party will have to resign 6 months to it. 6 months to it. You know why they are doing that? Because they know that most of the appointees will be whipped in line to support the system, whoever the system will bring. So let us take the largesse of them, the government largesse, their ability to use their offices to lobby 6 months before that election. So if I'm a CEO and you are telling me to resign 6 months to the election, you are trying to cripple me. They will tell you that, no, the party has to operate freely, government has to operate freely. We have to get people who are well committed to executing the research agenda and get people who are also committed to maintaining power in 2028. It's all a facade. The fact of the matter is that they just want to cripple people that will not support the other side's interests in the candidate.
Very well. If you just join us here on the show, this is News Flash. It's proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise and Koa Natural Fruit Juice. So you can also share your thought with us. Our WhatsApp line is active. I'll make time and read some of your messages that you've sent. We're streaming live on Facebook as well. You can also send your messages there. I'll also read some of them as well. And let's get into it. So, no, you want to respond to a few of the things that he has said? Yes. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much. And so you see this posturing, by the NPP and its assigns does not augur well for our national discourse. They do not engage in any constructive or progressive conversation that changes the national narrative. The issue of vote buying has been with us for a very long time. Political parties have continued to play the ostrich, ignoring the problem. And so today, when the issue of vote buying comes up, you don't point fingers and say that, it is the NDC that is engaging in vote buying. If we want to be honest to this conversation, the NPP, more than any political party in the history of the Fourth Republic, has continued to engage in vote buying. In the Ejisu by-election, we have video evidence, people saying that the NPP shared as much as wheat to them. And these are verifiable videos online that we can play for people to see. Your own sister station, Joy News, conducted a report. They said that in their 2023 primaries for orphan constituencies, the NPP were sharing money to delegates. In the just ended primaries, presidential primaries, Bawumia, Brian Champon, Kennedy Japon, shared between 500 cedis to 2,000 Ghana cedis. So much so that the Office of the Special Prosecutor came out with a presser indicating that they were conducting an investigation into the vote buying incidents that happened or that plagued or that characterized the NPP 2025 national presidential elections. And so it is not enough to come and sit here this morning, face the Ghanaian people and say that, oh, we the NPP, we are sanctimonious. We do not engage in vote buying. It is the NDC. Then you point to instances of vote buying within the NDC's primaries and then say that is enough. That is not what the Ghanaian people want to hear. The truth of the matter is that the Ghanaian people are going fatigued. We are all going fatigued. We are all losing hope. In our democracy, it is a time to do things very differently. And so, as political parties, there is a certain overarching responsibility on us to take action. And so, if today the NDC is taking action, what would be expected of the NPP from the Ghanaian people is that we all recognize the problem, we concede that this is the problem, and we address the problem collectively. It cannot be business as usual. It cannot be politics as usual. It is the NPP. The NDC says that it is the NPP. The NPP says that it is the NDC. Then the problem continues to plague us. It is time when our representatives who represent us in parliament represent us on the strength of their competencies, on what they can do for us, on the representation they can give us, and not because of what they can give us or how much is in their bank account. That is what we call constructive conversation. That is what we call progressive conversation in the overarching interest of our democracy that we practice, our enduring democracy, so that at the end of the day, the dividends of our democracy, of what the Constitution envisages, is attained, so that the collective good of the people is achieved. And so, my brother Atick, it cannot be politics as usual. It is not enough for you to come and sit here and say that NPP did it yesterday, and so if we are doing it today, it is okay. Or it is not enough for me to come and sit here and say that NPP did it yesterday, and so if the NDC is doing it today, it is okay. It is not okay. That is why it has been a raging conversation in the national discourse. And so we need to change our posturing when it comes to these conversations.
That's also the reason why a lot of people expected that some punitive measures would have been given to Baba Jamal, and the others were engaged in it. And sort of the party eventually saying that, okay, based on certain decisions that were made in terms of how close the main elections is and all of that, we should just allow it to go. So we are done. So you see, the point is that we have made the concessions. We have taken an action that shows that positively we want to do something about the situation. It is for me preemptive enough. It is for me deterrent enough, so that in the future, any candidate who would harbor the intention to buy the votes of the people and not sell their competencies will be very wary, because you know that some actions had been taken in the past, and you may be the person who the hammer falls on. And so that for me is very deterring enough. That for me is very constructive enough. That for me is very progressive. And so we need to change our attitude when it comes to the national discourse on vote buying. That point must be made very clear. Then he goes on to say, I'm sorry to say, but very delusional, that if elections were held today, they in the NPP would win the election. I think I can believe strongly so.
You see, this is the conduct of the NPP that is going to keep them in opposition for a very long time. I say this because now is the time for them in the NPP to make an introspection as to why they lost the election. I was listening to him, waxing lyrical, giving us permutations. Oh, if this happens here, we'll win the election. If you look at the changes, if you look at the vote difference, today I'm confident we'll win. But he has not paused to talk about why they lost in the election devastatingly in 2024. It was on the matter of mismanagement. It was on the matter of incompetence. It was on the matter of unemployment. Those were the leading reasons why the Ghanaian people voted against you. You have suffered the most debilitating, the most excruciating defeat the Fourth Republic has ever witnessed. And when it is time for you to go into opposition, make an introspection, see where you have gone wrong, reorganize yourself, and be a formidable opposition to the NDC that is in government today. Look at what they are doing. Then he says that there's apathy for the NDC government. Christ Lord, are you really in Ghana? He talks about unemployment. I am not saying it. President Mahama did not say it, or he did not come to say it. The NDC government has not said it. It is the Ghana Statistical Service that has come to tell us that between Q3 of 2024 and Q3 of 2025, over 1 million people have found employment. over 1 million people.
Which was
within the space until there's. Hold on. I only saw what is it? A highlight.
A news quote.
Exactly. That says that
the story indicates that is below that. You're looking about 660,000.
So until a contrary, verifiable, empirical report data comes to dispute what the Ghana Statistical Service...
But that's the fact check that joined us there.
But they've not provided any data, have they?
No, there are details to it.
No, but they've not provided any data. You see, when you look at the Ghana Statistical Services report, it is well detailed. They give you a specific breakdown of what they have done. That is what we call empirical data. And so until any empirical data comes to prove otherwise, because what the Statistical Service does is that they go down to the people and ask whether or not they are in employment. And so they ask and engage the people directly. And so until such is done, until another report that is empirically done to dispute what the Ghana Statistical Service has done, we will hold it as true, because they are even statutorily mandated to carry out these reports, and they are the ones.
Anybody cannot fact check.
And they are. No, I'm not saying that anybody cannot fact check it, but the point I'm making is that their research is very rigorous. Okay, and so anybody is allowed to fact check, but that fact checking must be within the same measure, and must meet the threshold of a rigorous research being conducted. Until that is done, I will be slow. I will be slow to...
In that case, maybe I'll entreat you to get the full story and read as well.
Okay.
So that maybe when you are done, we can have a
conversation on that.
Because based on what I have read, they made concrete facts of what had happened quarterly and all that. So maybe you should just get a benefit of...
No problem at all. I'm going to read that.
But yeah.
I'm going to read that. And I'm also going to wait for a response from the Ghana Statistical Service. But I'm telling you that they are constitutionally or statutorily mandated to conduct these researches. And they have tools at their disposal to conduct these researches. And they have come out to give us those facts, rigorous as it is, that between Q3 of 2024 and Q3 of 2025, over 1 million people have found employment. That is a lot. The NDC has not come out to see that they have created 1 million jobs. Raymond has not come out or is not saying on this platform that the NDC has created 1 million jobs. It is the Ghana Statistical Service that is saying this. And now, the point must also be made that if you have a government in place, so much so that it creates the conducive atmosphere or environment such that 1 million people have found jobs within a period of 1 year, then that is laudable. That is very constructive. He is speaking about employment or unemployment records. Christ Lord, from 2016 or in 2017, when they took over the reins of affairs of this country, unemployment stood at 8.4%. Ask me what the figure rose to when they left office. Unemployment rose to 14.7%. For 8 years, they have not had a single program to deal with the menace of unemployment in this country. The only knee-jerk response they had to unemployment was NAPCO. Borrow and spend on consumption. Find money and share amongst young people, 700 cedis a month. Even that, people did not even get that 700 cedis for many, many, many months. And that is not sustainable. And so we saw how woefully the NAPCO policy failed. These are the reasons why they were voted out of office. Look at inflation. Inflation rose to the tunes of 54% in this country. The World Bank reported that because of inflation, hyperinflation situation, over 850,000 people went beneath the poverty lines. Today, as I'm speaking to you, inflation stands at 3.8%. The Ghana Statistical Service has come to say that because of low inflation, when you look at multidimensional inflation, when you look at the multidimensional inflation index, over 950,000 today have come out of the poverty lines. That is because inflation is low. That is because the purchasing power of the people have grown exponentially. They would say that, we are only churning out macroeconomic figures. And so what is the real effect of inflation in the pockets of the people, in the lives of the people?
Is there any
At some point, iron rod was selling for 9,600 cedis. As I'm speaking to you, iron rod is selling for 6,600 cedis. As I'm speaking to you, a crate of egg that used to sell for 75 cedis is today selling for 55 cedis. A pins bucket of tomatoes that used to sell for 150 cedis is today selling for 100 cedis.
All these are...
A bag of maize that used to sell for 1,500 cedis is today selling for 800 cedis. These are the real effects of a low inflation in the lives of the people.
Wow.
Today, households are spending by up to 8.7%. Their spending capacity has increased by over 8%. That is the real impact. That is the real net effect of inflation in the lives of the people.
You're also aware that some are also complaining about cost of living, right?
The point I'm making is that the cost of living, compared to what it used to be and what we have come to meet, is entirely exponentially very different.
Even though
the times were very excruciating.
Some major strides have been made.
Yes,
strides
have been made.
Yeah.
So, like I said, if at some time ago I was buying a pins bucket of tomatoes for 150 cedis, and I'm doing same for the price of 100 cedis, I am better off. Supposing that you are building, you have strived and you are building, and you used to buy iron rod for 9,600 cedis. Today, you are buying same for 6,600 cedis. You are better off. If at some point in time, you used to buy a liter of fuel for 17 cedis, today you are doing so for between 10 cedis and 11 cedis, you are better off. That is the real impact of governance. That is the real impact of competent governance, as the Ghanaian people can attest to. And so the NPP must desist from their propaganda and must start to reorganize themselves to be a formidable opposition to government, because so far we have enjoyed the goodwill of the Ghanaian people and we are enjoying the incompetence of the NPP in opposition.
You have the power to sustain it before the elections 2028. That is what the NPP believes that you will not be able to do, because the goodwill of the Ghanaian people does not stay forever. Is the NDC doing what all it takes to ensure that that is sustained?
Of course, we are going to do everything possible to sustain this. Now let me give you one indicator that shows whether or not a government is serious and minded by the plight and the common interests of the Ghanaian people. When it comes to primary balance, the primary balance shows the frugality and prudence of government in spending, because government expenditure affects everything. Under the NPP, we had run a deficit, a primary deficit, consistently. When we took over, primary deficit was at negative 3%. Today, we have recorded a surplus of 1.5%. And so you take government expenditure, you juxtapose it to government revenue minus interest servicing, and see whether or not government is spending within its means or is spending above what comes to government. And we are recording a surplus. Under the NPP, they had recorded a deficit for a long period of time. In fact, fiscal deficit, when you take interest servicing, you take government expenditure, government revenue, at some point in time, they did a deficit of 15%. Now, this is what happens. When government is not spending within its means, what happens is that it drives inflation. In 2022 and 2023, the NPP printed over 77 billion Ghana cedis. And that was the reason why inflation rose to 54%. That affected the lives of the people in so many ways. They told us that we should tighten our belts. Meanwhile, they were printing money and were spending on reckless consumption and corruption. Today, we are living within our means. What we accrue in revenue, we are living within our means. And so it means that inflation is going to stay at a very low place for a very long time, unless there are any external exigencies. Because another factor has to do with cost of fuel and transportation. Now,
And that is about to face a difficult problem right now.
That's what I'm saying. That unless there are any external exigencies, and well, the war between U.S.,
the NPP
Israel
will disagree with that.
The war with U.S., Israel, and Iran may impact the cost of crude on the international market.
For that?
Why not?
As against what the NPP
why not? Why not?
With COVID.
Why not?
That would be the argument for you. That they went through the same thing, and you said that you rubbished everything and said that it makes sense for them to be like.
You see.
I'm sure. You see. He's going to get on that level as well. You see. How do we justify ours?
Mm-hmm. You see, the point must be made. Okay.
Yeah.
That the NDC and its members have never at any point in time said that COVID did not impact our economy. Even President Mahama, and I'll pull that report for you, at an international engagement, said, admitted, and recognized the fact that COVID impacted our economy, but those impacts or the ruins of our economy was exacerbated by the incompetence of this government. Before COVID struck in 2020, okay, the dollar or the cedi had appreciated by 19% against the dollar. You would recall that at the time, Bawumia set up a 40-member committee to interrogate why the cedi was depreciating against the dollar in 2019 before COVID struck. That is a fact. In fact, what they did to even sustain the economy, okay, to even sustain the cedi against the dollar between the periods of 2017 and 2019, before COVID striking, was the fact that they went into the Eurobond market to go and borrow dollar to come and sustain the economy. That is what they did. Knee-jerk responses. Now, the question must be asked. When we took over the reins of affairs in 2025, was the Russia-Ukraine war not raging? Was it not raging? Did it come to an end? Did it? No, I'm asking you a question. It was raging, and it is still raging. But we managed. So how did we manage to move inflation from 23% to 3.8%? How did we manage to move debt to GDP ratio from 61% to 45%? Because of this situation, because of the rising cost of borrowing, we were unable to service our debt. Because of that, we did DDEP. People who had invested their monies with government, they could not have access to their monies, and the maturities were deferred, the interests were slashed. Someone who was a pensioner invested his money in government bond. The person is 75 years old. You are saying that you have extended the person's maturity by another 15 years. Someone who is 75 years old, would the person, what is the guarantee that the person would live up to 100 years to have a benefit of their investment? There is no guarantee. And you expropriated about 83 billion Ghana cedis. Today, as I'm speaking to you, we have reduced the public debt stock by the same amount when COVID is still raging. How were we able to do that? We were able to move the cost of fuel, okay, from 14 cedis to 10 cedis, even while imposing a 1 cedi levy on the cost of fuel. How were we able to achieve that when, the Russia-Ukraine war was still raging or is still raging? So it is a clear issue of incompetence by the NPP. Nobody has said in the NDC that external exigencies or external factors does not impact, our peculiar local economic dynamics. It does, but it would be preposterous for anyone to say, it would be largely preposterous for anyone to say today that the war that is raging today between Iran, US, and Israel would not impact our economy, would not impact the cost of fuel. You do know that the Strait of Hormuz, where Brent crude is transported, passes through Iran, and they passes through the shores of Iran. And when these wars are raging, they decide to close the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah, and if that is done, crude cannot pass through. And so the dynamics are different.
Okay.
So you can't say because the war was raging in Ukraine with Russia, and we said that, oh, it is because of your incompetence. If a war is raging between Iran and US today, we can't say that it is because of the war, because that war directly impacts the cost of Brent crude on the international market. At the last reckoning, when I last checked, they said the cost of Brent crude has risen by 10%. And this is a fact. This is verifiable. We can all check for that. And we do not in Ghana control the price of crude or fuel on the international market. The prevailing price of crude on the international market, and that is the price at which we go to purchase. And so there's a direct impact of that war on our economy. And like I've already indicated to you, the war in Russia was raging when we took over the reins of affairs. We were able to decrease inflation from 23% to 3.4%, debt to GDP from 61% to 45%. Public debt stock, we have reduced by over 83 billion. How were we able to achieve that? The cost of fuel from 14 cedis to 10 cedis. How were we able to achieve all of these things when Russia is still fighting with Ukraine?
Okay, I'll come back to you again, Ray. But if you just join us here on the show, this is News Flash here on Prime Morning. It's proudly brought to you by Fiscal Trading Enterprise and Kowa Natural Fruit Juice. And that's what you need. A bit of phone in your hand and a juice in hand is totally a good day. Trust me on that one. A phone from Fiscal Trading Enterprise and a fruit juice from Kowa Natural Fruit Juice is definitely a good day guaranteed. What else do you want? Now, I'm going to be doing a few of your messages that you've sent to us. I'm going to see if we can get those messages on the console so that I can read some of them. But checking on Facebook, some of them have come through. This one is from Emabia Damba, and it says, I like this NBC communicator. Another one from Dan Danito says, who is one to... your leader claimed that if there is an election today, your party would win, and you couldn't win yesterday by election, and you think you can win 2028 election. Okay. Anthony Atiso says, hey, Massa, stop deceiving yourself. And it says nothing will happen. It goes on to say nothing will happen. So that's from some of the messages from Facebook. Do I have some of the messages from WhatsApp? Can I have them, please? And let's go through a few of them. But we're also going to be taking our attention to, and gentlemen, let me just remind you, some posts that were actually made by Felix Kwache with regards to some of the, this has been one of the major conversations that have come up severally in terms of what happened a few days before the NDC took over power. Some recruitments that were done by the NPP, which some were revoked, and it became a national conversation. And so I'll see if we can just share our thoughts on that briefly as well. Let me just read what he said, and then maybe you'd think about it whilst I get through some of the messages, and then we'll take it from there. He says that a committee set up by the Chief of Staff to look into the revocation of the recruitment, appointment, and promotions of persons into the public service after 7th December. Elections made the following findings and recommendations. A total of 2,080 people had their recruitment, appointments, and promotions revoked per the directive from the Chief of Staff. And it goes on and says 1,201 appointments were upheld because they were found to comply with due process. 541 appointments were revoked for failure to comply with due process, and 338 appointment of persons with disability were upheld. This was what he posted on his page yesterday. And we'll find time and go through that as well and see what we can make of that. But because, I mean, for the fact that this has been a very long-standing conversation with regards to what happened when the NDC took over power. All right. So, yeah, we're going to get into it. But you can still send your messages to us and share your thoughts with us here on the show. And also, you can do so on Facebook. I'm here with Atick and Raymond, who have joined me this morning. Atick, you want to respond to a few things?
Yeah, I want to respond to a few things. First of all, he made a blatant lie, which you didn't call him to order. One, he said, Bamia set up a 40-member committee to investigate why the city was depreciating in 2019. There's no way or with any directive. It never happened, and the vice president, no vice president in the history of this country has the power to set up any committee of any sort in government. He knows that, you know that, I also know that, those listening else know that. So it was also a lie. He didn't even say 7 member, he said 40 member. Come on, like really? Come on, let's get serious here. He also made some comments which I would just like to brush through, then we move to the next issue. One, he said NPP hasn't learned any lesson. And part of the reasons why we went for opposition was because of issues of unemployment, incompetence, and all that. In fact, I'll even ask him, I'll help him with some of the reasons why we went to opposition. First, when you pick an issue of unemployment, all right, we admit that it was part of the reason why we went to opposition. And apathy was caused by, the apathy came from our people who felt disgruntled, who felt that they were not also having a share of the national cake. And I did state in my earlier submission that their party is facing the same thing, the same problem. It is not up to him to decide whether those issues I raised are valid or not. Because his party people are a living witness, a living testimony of whatever is happening. Perhaps maybe,
that party has been in power for
maybe
I think that is enough to
how many years?
Everybody into positions.
I'm saying that.
Yeah, you had about 8 years.
You had a power for 8 years.
And in 2020, maybe it was the last 4 years. In 2020, we didn't face an issue of apathy. They've even started the issue of apathy and complain way early. Because they can't do that much for everybody.
In 2020, they can't do much. So you admit that they are also failing. They are party people. Look, it is not in his place to admit or to say whether yes, issues of unemployment is happening or there's apathy in his party or people are grieving his party. It's not his place. It is his party supporters to say.
So do you want
but then let me even
where they can
let me
so that it becomes another
but
national
if you
problem.
tell me that when you come to power, you are going to implement something we call 133, all right? Then I go queue and vote for you for that 133. Then I now come to power, then you now give me a blueprint on how you are going to do it and say, you know what, I spoke about this door.
But I can't do it now.
But I can't do it now.
Later.
Is that not a lie? Is that not a lie? Wasn't a propaganda winning power? Again, if he wants to talk about issue of unemployment, I expected him to even give the people false hope. But he decided to just pass somewhere and just decide to just use English and jargons in his submissions just to cover up the rot that is going on in his party. Now, let me refer to some of the comments, some of the posts from his own party people who are weighty. Take Gideon Hammond, their deputy regional youth organizer for Greater Accra, deputy regional youth organizer for Greater Accra. He said that, and this was written on Facebook, 28 January, he said, constantly, I've had to remind colleague appointees and people in position of trust that I am a regional executive. When I'm asking for employment, into bracket, opportunities, I do so knowing the magnitude of pressure on me on a daily basis. I have the fiduciary duty of bridging the gap between the privileged few in government, and the distant many of our party base. When the people at the base survive, we will also survive, and it continues. From his deputy regional youth organizer, his own deputy regional youth organizer, he is admitting openly, publicly that there are issues that are raging underground. There are issues of unemployment in his party. So you cannot sit here and try to paint it, see black and paint it and call it white. The truth is there. The truth is within your party people. The youth are living on issues of unemployment. Recently, Musa Dankwa came up with a research, I think about 2 months ago, and he said that in 2028 election, the decider of that election is going to be issue of jobs. He said it. We are heading towards that place. Again, his own CEO, Eric AJ, who has the mandate, or who's been given the mandate to help build entrepreneurs at NIP, also wrote on Facebook about 2-3 weeks ago, he said, if you can't finish it, don't start it. The grassroots who supported the party into power are still looking for jobs. So what is he saying? From your own party people who are weighty, are complaining about jobs, and you sit here and gaslight your party people. The problem that we face in power, all right, is the same problem that they are also facing in power. What he is failing to admit is to say that yes, things happen, they are not right. Things are happening, they are not right, but we shall make sure that we build upon. But when you sit here and try to gaslight people who you know that even within your party, who work so hard for so many years, sacrifice perhaps more than you, people who really, really worked, sacrificed for more than you, are still sitting home unemployed, and you are trying to gaslight them. I know a report that we did politics with years ago, during the test quarantine era. There was one person who called me. We were having a conversation. I said, "Oh, where are you employed?" And he told me that, "Oh, I'm still unemployed. I'm still home." Just like 2 months ago, he said, "I'm still unemployed. I'm home." And I asked him, "How do you survive?" Because looking at his age and being a family man, I asked him, "How do you survive?" These are the real issues happening in your party. He also went on.
Okay.
To make, and I would like to talk. I would like to. I'll wrap it up on that. I'll wrap it up with that. I'll wrap it on. I'll wrap it up with the Russian-Ukraine, comparing it to the Israel-Iran war. I have never seen anybody contradict himself like he is contradicting himself this morning. At a point, he said the government-owned policy, government-owned strategy has been able to bring fuel prices from 14 to 10. And when he said that, you just open your eyes and watch him like, I know you were giving the look like, man, are you serious here? He said from 14 to 10. Then in the next minute, he comes back to say that, crude prices will definitely affect the pump prices because they don't determine the price of crude. Where is the comparison here? How do you appropriate and reprobate at the same time on the same issue? Now, let me educate him on something that if he doesn't know. In 2019, the economy with its indicators were doing good. Even after COVID, it was still doing good. Until the Russia-Ukraine war started somewhere, I think February, March of 2022 or so. I think 2022, February, March, when the Russia-Ukraine war started. The moment it started, within 2-3 months, price of crude began moving up because there's been sanctions placed on Russian crude. If you remember, there was some sanctions. Mm-hmm. And the moment they are sanctioned, that means that all those who are buying from that enclave or buying from Russia that is producing so much for the world, they cannot buy. So there'll be shortage in the system, isn't it? So to force the crude prices to go up. So if Ghana, annually, we are spending $3 billion, all right, in the importation of finished product, then all of a sudden, the price of crude moved from, let's say, 56 to around 102. Are we still going to be spending $3 billion or going to spend around $5.something billion to $6 billion in importation of finished product? We are going to be spending around $6.something billion. It's going to go up. So if those prices go up, when pump prices go up, pump prices will go up. And if pump prices go up, when the price of goods and services also go up, they are going to go up, thereby causing inflation. It is just simple and basic. And it's the same position. And if God doesn't step in to put a halt into whatever is happening in the Israel and the Iran issue, all right, we are going to pay the same issue. Now, you are telling me that you have decreased petroleum prices from 14 to 10. He said he made it. He didn't say that. He didn't say that because of the crude prices. Then later on, in a minute time, he came back and said, when he was now making comparison between Iran and Israel, now come back to say, you know what, it was because issue of crude prices.
There's no contradiction.
When you were talking, I kept quiet.
No, go ahead.
I'll go ahead. When I continue, I won't go to the trajectory.
I think, go ahead.
Don't do that. So, I said, if you tell me pump price decrease because of your performance, all right, then all of a sudden, you come back and tell me that, you know, there's a war raging, which is going to affect prices of goods and going to affect the pump prices, thereby affecting price of goods and services. Then what, are you not contradicting yourself? You are contradicting yourself because in the first place between the Russian-Ukraine war, you said, no, it was because of our incompetence. Now, in your case, you are saying that, no, there's an international factor or external factors which you don't have power over. So what are you talking about here? Let me tell you something. Okay. If you are spending $6 billion in the protection of finished product, then all of a sudden the crude prices drop by half. You are now spending, let's say, $3 billion. Wouldn't your forest now have some breathing space? So technically, you have the city start to appreciate against the dollar, isn't it? So aside you pumping in so much forest into it, because prices of crude has come down, or you enjoy the price of crude coming down, prices at the pump also came down, thereby also helping in inflation dropping. Simple as that.
Okay, I'll come back to you again, but let me go on Zoom. We've been joined by Madi Gibro. He's actually the Deputy Director of Elections and IT, NDC. He's an acting Deputy Director, Elections and IT, NDC. He's joined us this morning here on the show. Madi, good morning, if you can hear me.
It is not a rooted elections outreach.
Hello, can you hear me?
It's not that it will be less.
I can hardly hear. I think we have network issues. If you can repeat that what you said again for me, please.
But it's so bad.
Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Can you lower the volume of your television set for me? I think we're getting a bit of...
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I think it's better now. Please go ahead. Hello, are you there? Okay, all right. I think we're having difficulty trying to reconnect with him, and then we'll let you know. He'll be joining us here on the show. We're also hoping that Professor Ezekiel Norte would also join us. He's an associate professor of statistics and actuarial science, University of Ghana, Legon. If you can hear me now, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Okay, I think it's better now. Hopefully we're able to stay on this one. Thanks for making time for me this morning here on the show. I'm grateful.
You're welcome.
Great. First of all, what's your general impression about the elections yesterday? Did it go the way you expected it to go as the one who was in charge?
Let me say good morning to your viewers and then your guests in the studio. This by-election on our part is one of the difficult by-elections ever the party has participated in, especially when it's our stronghold. Because the by-election came with its own challenges to the party. However, we're able to go around it and we got the victory.
Some of the challenges you mentioned will be what?
In fact, we have the internal challenge and an external challenge. This is a by-election from the primaries. You remember before even the primaries, a group of some of our members of parliament even threw their weight to one candidate before the elections. So straightforward, it tells you that there was a problem in the constituency for us to resolve. Then after the primaries, the issue that happened, where we almost cancelled the elections. So coupled with this, and the data of Ayawaso East, it tells you that you have a difficult elections to run. And so at the end of the day, we believe that we'll be able to manage the situation with the dynamics available to be able to win the seat.
And the external ones will be what?
One is about the data.
Okay.
You see, I hear people talking about the turnout, looking at the number of the voters in the constituency.
Yeah.
However, the statistics available shows that almost 13% of voters in Ayawaso East don't reside in the constituency. You don't reside in the constituency. So if you take the 13% out and then look at the turnout now, you realize that it means that even the turnout was good as against any other elections that we participated, especially by elections. Okay?
Yeah.
Then now comes to the lower education. You know, when you do some research, you realize that after our primaries, many people thought that there would not be any elections again in Ayawaso East. Because just after Tamale Central, when we did our primaries and won because we are majority, people thought that, okay, it's a foregone population again and so in Ayawaso East. So education was not enough in the Ayawaso East. Then coupled with the Ramadan issues. So we as a party went to this election just to win the elections, not looking at the numbers, because we knew the challenges on the ground where the party must work towards it. So turnout was not an issue, the difference was not an issue, but the most crucial issue is for us to win the election, which we have done it.
Now, if you look at the analysis you were making, then it means that if those people who do not reside in that constituency had come to vote, it means that the predicted 75 over 70 percentage would have been possible then.
Or would have gone beyond even that number. Would have gone beyond that number of even the 75.
Then it also means that, like you rightly said, that constituency has a problem. The MP-elect had a very big task because there was a bit of division, like you mentioned, some throwing their weight to other people and all that. Collectively, how do you repair this to ensure that the MP would have a sound mind to be able to do what he has to do for the constituency?
It is mostly will be on the candidate, the MP now. You know, before the elections, there's this information news that it doesn't come from the constituency. They don't know him. So if you realize, our opponents were even campaigning on a home-based issue, that if they are not even voting for their own candidate, they should vote for Sanda, who is the independent candidate.
Yeah.
Now it's for now Baba Jamal to prove the people of Ayawaso East that have come to serve. If Baba Jamal is able to do that, then that we have resolved most of our problems in the constituency.
Are you confident that you'll be able to do that for the party?
I am very
based on all the things that he has gone through already.
No, I'm very confident that Baba can do. This is somebody who has been Deputy General Secretary of the party. He has been member of parliament. He has been minister. He knew what caused him to lose election at Gotia. So going into this 3 years before 2028, I believe that Baba Jamal will change the dynamics in the constituency.
Now, you're talking about 2028 and, changing the dynamics of it and all that. I'm sure every elections, you as a head of it, you use it as an example of what is likely going to be happening in the future if we go for an election. I feel I can believe strongly that if we're supposed to vote today, as we speak, the NPP has a better chance of winning the elections more than the NDC.
Oh, that is unfortunate if anybody does that analysis. In fact, from these elections, I am confident that the NPP have no any structure to manage elections in this country. In fact, if the NPP have a stronger strategy, they could have won these elections.
You think so?
Yes.
But that's your stronghold.
No.
Baba Jamal has a certain, love from the people. If you looked at what, the internal elections actually turned out to be, was that an easy and cool win for you?
Yeah, that is where I am coming to. So you see, the NPP, it is only come to by-elections and parliamentary elections. They are more of a local issues. The candidates split. And you have 3 candidates who are so popular in the constituency.
Yeah.
So you need to manage and use the strength to win the elections. The NPP didn't understand the dynamics. They came rather even attacking Baba Jamal, forgetting to promote their own candidates. It got to a point when NPP is campaigning that if you are not voting for NPP, vote for Sanda. That's what NPP campaigning. But as a party, we sat back and look at the dynamics of the data and approach the election and won the election based on the available data and the dynamics in the constituency. And has been a lesson to us now. What we went through to win these elections in Ayawaso East. I believe if we continue, it will be difficult for us to lose any election ahead of us.
Data collection and what you've gained from the previous elections and this one that just ended. as against what the EC is likely going to be collating eventually in any other elections, you think that you've got a stronger hold of it and it gives you a better picture than what, because at the point people were expecting the Electoral Commission to have come out to come and, announce, declare, because they felt like other individuals or those who are also doing their own coalition and all that have been able to put a data together to ensure that we know who is already winning. You still have a stronger data collection in terms of elections as against what the Electoral Commission will be bringing eventually.
Yes, there are two different issues here. The EC collect results based on a manual system. You carry pin sheet from the polling station, ride on a motorbike or walk to the collation center. For us, we rely on the transmission of the result electronically. So at any given time, we'll be ahead of the Electoral Commission. Okay?
Yeah.
And then two, even at the collation, I'm sure those who were at the collation, you realize that there are different in the figures when we were collating. So after even the collation, you have to go back again to confirm to get the figures right. So there are differences. I believe that when it comes to the Electoral Commission result collation, I would prefer them to have time to get the result well. Because any slip of Electoral Commission collation can cost this country. Okay?
Yeah.
So I always prefer those kind of time, we should be able to give them time. And that's why political party must also be patient enough, even if you have gotten your results. Because there are other things that also comes into collation. You understand? It only gives you a guide that either you have won the election or not. But patience to be given, time to be given the Electoral Commission to be able to do the right thing before they get results. So I'm not blaming the Electoral Commission of the time that they spent to collect the results.
But in general, are you satisfied with the way they went through the process and were able to, achieve what were, because over the period we've complained about how they do their things. But looking at what just happened and the previous ones that we have had, you think that they've done a good job?
No, I would say that they have done a good job. And it's all came because the parties supported them. This is the by-election that we had 2 IPAC meetings before the election. And we cooperated with them. And that is the beauty of the game. Once political parties participate and support the Electoral Commission, I believe that we always have a peaceful elections and good elections.
Okay. I wanted to, if you are not busy and you can stay with me on the show, I would appreciate, but I want to get back in studio and then I'll come back to you again. We're delving into the economics of what we're experiencing as a nation. And so maybe around that conversation, I'll come back to you and take a few thoughts from you as well.
Okay, so but I will give you some few time because I'm on other programs so that I have to.
Okay, all right. Give me a few minutes. Let me engage Raymond in the studio. Raymond is here and he's a government spokesperson. Let me engage him a bit and I'll come back to you as well.
My brother, this morning, okay, indulge me. I want to dispute some of the claims my brother has made on this platform this very morning. And I want you to help me to do that. Kindly read this for me.
Government inaugurates committee to investigate depreciation of CDA, and that is January 17, 2020. And it says the finance...
It's a picture.
Oh, it's a picture.
Yes, now, hold on. Now, scroll by 2 times.
Maybe you can help me.
Yeah, let me help you. So now...
Okay.
Now, read this.
All right, so this one says, the members of the committee are drawn from the Office of the Vice President, Bank of Ghana, Agriculture Ministry, Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, Association of Ghana Industries, and some universal banks, among other key stakeholders.
Indulge me, please. Now read this.
Mr. Benjamin Kodo, Member of Parliament for Ho Central in the Volta region, has declined invitation to serve on the 40-member committee set up by government.
How many members?
The CD on track 40.
40 members.
Did Baumia set up a committee?
Now.
He said Baumia set up a committee.
So this was the government of Ghana, right?
When the COVID struck, hold on. When the COVID struck.
Okay, so facts about COVID-19 cases in Ghana, that is March 27,
March. So in January,
you said 2019.
Listen.
Baumia has set up a committee in 2019. Baumia set up a committee.
Listen.
Does the vice president have the power to set up a committee?
Is it your time to speak?
Go ahead.
I have not said my time to speak. So now this is the case. I am telling you that as far back as December 2019, when the cedi had depreciated by 12.7%, Bawumia, as chairperson of the economic management team, as leader, under his tenureship, even members of his office participated on a 40-member committee to investigate the depreciation of the cedi. That announcement was made in 2019 December. The committee was set up in January 2020. COVID struck in March 2020. And so the incompetence of your government, COVID-19 had nothing to do with the incompetencies of your government. The depreciation of our economy, the jeopardization of our economy had nothing to do with COVID-19. That is a fact. Because in 2019, under Bawumia as manager of the economic management team, set up a 40-member committee to start investigating the rot of our economy, the sickening of our economy, before COVID-19 struck in March of 2020. That is a clear-cut fact, and the people can bear me out. The facts bear me out. Secondly, he said I have contradicted myself. In one breath, I said the NDC government is responsible for bringing the cost of fuel at the pump from 14 cedis to 10 cedis. And in another breath, I am saying that the cost of fuel prices is determined by international pricing. Please, we have a duty. We owe it a duty to our viewers that when we come and sit here, we have our research. When we come and sit here, we have our researches done right. When it comes to the pricing of fuel or crude, it is determined by two things, two factors. One, international pricing, and two, exchange rate. So if, for example, okay, let's say, for example, crude is selling for, fuel is selling on the international market for $100, okay? At the time, exchange rate was 70 cedis. Let's say exchange rate was 70 cedis. If I wanted to import that fuel or buy that fuel, I need 1,700 cedis at the prevailing exchange rate to be able to purchase or procure that fuel that is selling at $100. So if today the dollar or the cedi has appreciated by 40% against the dollar, and it has moved from 14 cedis to 10 cedis today, if I am going on the international market to buy fuel that is priced at $100, I only need 1,000 cedis. So what will happen? If initially you needed 1,700 cedis to buy fuel at the cost of $100, and today you need only 1,000 Ghana cedis to procure the same fuel for $100, what happens? Automatically the price is reduced. And so first, the important factor to look at is the international pricing. That is the number one factor. You look at that. Then secondly, you look at the prevailing exchange rate. And so if the government has worked such that the cedi has appreciated by 40% against the dollar, and you need only 10 cedis to exchange a dollar, which moved from 14 cedis, then obviously the government has a direct hand in making sure that the cost of fuel at the pump is far cheaper today. And so those two factors is what is very important. The international pricing, you look at the international pricing, then you come and look at your prevailing exchange rate. And so today, the reason why fuel is cheaper at the pump is because the cedi has gained strength, and the exchange rate, we are exchanging at a far cheaper, we now need fewer cedis to exchange a dollar than we needed in 2024 or even before 2024. And so that is a factor. That is very clear. Okay. But if on the international market, the cost of fuel goes up, then that is not a factor the government of Ghana can control.
Okay, Ray, give me.
So the point is that
wrap up and give me something.
The point is that what you can control is the exchange rate, and so you must do everything possible so that your cedi is in a very good position, so that when the international pricing is set, you can still procure the fuel and come and sell at a far cheaper price.
And that's what your government seems to be doing.
And so what is the contradiction in here? There's no contradiction.
All right, gentlemen, I'll come back to you again, but let me try and engage Professor. Professor Ezekiel Norte has joined us as well. He's Associate Professor for Statistics and Actuarial Science, University of Ghana. Prof, a very good morning to you. I'm grateful for your time this morning.
Good morning. And pardon me, I waited for a while, so I had to drop my kids from school. So I'm on the wheels now, but I still can talk.
Okay, let me do it quick with you then. I mean, your general overview of, first of all, what's the president in terms of the information is put out there, how the country is doing, and as against what people feel that is not actually the case. One typical example will be the fact that he thinks about 1 million people have gotten a job. Now, fact check indicated that it's not the case. Ghana statistics is coming to the picture, but they have not really come out with any report on that yet. What do you make of this as against what would likely the impact that it will make on the government?
Well, I think when it comes to job creation, I might not be able to justify what the president said, but I only would look at the Ghana Standard Service what they provide and just oppose it and say that, he's just being over optimistic or is pessimistic on something. Yeah. But at the general trend of events, I think we need to be very sincere as Ghanaians. The current administration has done so well because most of the indicators are pointing in the right direction.
Okay.
Not necessarily the rate of unemployment. Yeah, we need data to support that. But I think the polarization of our system has made it very difficult of people on one side of the divide not to accept anything. Yeah. But at least when they go to the pumps, they are selling it in their pockets. When you want to change some cedis into dollars, you will feel it in your pocket. So those things are not hard facts. Yeah, they are very simple facts that we can look at.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But being as it may, the president has spoken. He said they've made a number of jobs. All we can do is to interrogate it and find out where are these jobs being created? How many people have benefited? We can even interview some of them. And then we get those facts. So it's not difficult to just find out whether what he's saying is true or not.
Very well. So, Prof, statistically, you believe that it is not okay, or I'm asking, is it okay to use just one sector that is not doing well to judge the performance of a president or a government who has also excelled in the other sectors?
That would be ingenious on our part. We did not do that. There are various sectors that the government is overseeing. So our objective should be that the government should perform across all of them. But it's very difficult to achieve these under these circumstances all the time. So probably one or two may be focused on, but eventually, let's give them some benefit of the doubt. Yeah. They are just about in their second year or so. So let's give them some benefit of the doubt. Noting that the last year would be for them to engage in politics. The first 3 years, they should work.
And I also believe that data plays a very important role in achieving some of these things that we've mentioned and all that. Do you think that the based on what we've seen so far, the indicators and all of that would eventually propel them into, getting an upper hand in what was supposed to be happening in 2028?
I think all things are pointing in the right direction for them.
Okay.
However, you see, there are external forces. The geopolitics of the world also play a very crucial role.
And which has become very strong now.
Look at what is happening in the Middle East, which could throw us out of here. So we need, this is the time we need to focus more and think of what to do next. We think outside the box. So it's a difficult time we find ourselves in. If they are able to scale through, then it's a plus for the government. If they struggle, then I'm sorry, they will struggle also in the elections.
Very well.
The Ghanaian voter.
Yeah, Prof, go ahead, please. Okay, I think we lost Prof for a minute. We'll try and see. Maybe you would have his wrapping comments for us, and then we'll move on that. But let me engage Maddy. Maddy, if you're there, let me just also wrap up with you so that I can come back to studio with my gentleman here. Maddy, are you confident that 2028 is a done deal for the NDC?
I will not just say that to take things for granted. Election is a process, and I believe that we'll approach election to win 2028 elections based on the dynamics that will play for the 2028 elections. But for now, if I look at what the party is doing, what the government is doing, I can say that if election is to be held today, we will still win the elections. But let's see what the dynamics will play for the 2028 elections.
And finally, before you go, you have one of the most important tasks that you want to take in selecting a flag bearer before we go into elections 2028. You play a very important role in that as well. How are you gearing up towards that, and what would be the dynamics for that as well?
I think to get it well, it is to start with the reorganization that we have started. In the next 2 months, we will start our branch elections, which is the data that we use to elect our flag bearers. Once we get that one right, I believe that we can manage the other process well. And that's where the focus is to get down. So for me, I am looking at getting the very best branch elections data. Then from there, whatever we encounter, we'll go through it and select the best out of those who contest for the flag bearer elections. But let me add here, you realize that these our by-elections, then these have done some things different this time around. Where for the first time in our history, in the Fourth Republic, you have a by-election that the government machinery didn't involve in these elections. This is a by-election that you didn't see as even street light, even the prominence in a street light in the constituency. It's something that the party is trying to move from, where the by-elections, the cost of running by-election, to cut it down. So that's why you see that we didn't have the government machinery in these elections. And something that I think that we need to be applauded for doing that. Again, also managing our by-elections in the peaceful manner. I hear people are saying that the police presence played a role. Now we started this thing from when we promised that elections is about the local people. Let them vote who they want. And for us to do the right thing to get the candidate to be elected. So I said that so far, the NDC is doing something right in the management of elections. And I believe that if our colleagues also start to go through that route, in the future we have peaceful elections in this.
I think if the studio believes otherwise. He thinks that the party is not for the candidates. The top machineries are not for the candidates, and that's the reason why we didn't see all of you marshal efforts to go and support the candidate, which is Baba Jamal, who eventually won.
That's
Do you disagree with that?
We went to Akwetia. Did the president participate in that elections? We went to Tamale Central before here.
Yeah.
Even that one, he knew we went unopposed. It didn't come just because nobody contested.
Maybe that one there wasn't a particular interest, but this one he believed that there was a certain interest with the party in supporting one candidate as against the other person. And so since the other person, those that the party wanted to support, didn't get the chance, there was no need going to bring everybody to marshal effort for the one that they did not probably want to represent the party.
No, you see, I've made it clear that it is party that wins power for government. And if you allow government to determine your election management, you are bound to lose any elections ahead of you. So we are detaching ourselves from the government nationally to win any elections without the government. And that is what we have done this time around. Because if you always rely on government to win elections, especially by-elections, then when you are in opposition, you cannot win any elections. And that is what is causing NPP.
Okay.
That is what is causing NPP. See, they have relied on government to run elections. Now, because there's no government, they are finding it difficult to win any elections ahead of them. And that's the lessons we have learned. And that is the approach we are taking this our system.
Okay, so this has nothing to do with supporting one candidate as against the other person from the top.
I don't mean even the government doesn't support the candidate. Not even, of course, have to lose the elections. You agree with me?
Yeah.
So we have decided that even 2028, we will run the elections with the party system.
Okay.
Party structure to win the elections. Because it is always the party that win elections, not government.
Very well. Madi Gabriel, let me just allow you. Thank you so much for the time. I'm grateful.
You're welcome.
Great. And that's the Deputy Director, Acting Deputy Director of Elections and IT, NDC, joining me this morning, Madi Gabriel. Let me have some messages and go through them, and then we'll come back to studio again. I'm sure Atick would want to, again, disagree with that, but can I have the messages, please?
Nothing to disagree with.
Let me have my time.
No, you have your time.
Okay. All right. Let me have your take. Maybe you want to respond to that quickly.
Yeah, quickly.
Yes. Then when I have the messages, I can just get them.
KMG.
Yes.
It is still a fact that Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia never set up a committee of 20 people, 40 people to investigate or...
In your opinion, it was the government?
It was the government.
Was he the head of the economic committee?
He was the head of the economic management team.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have a power to set up any committee. You are aware of that. Because the committee itself
the government set up...
The committee itself... Hold on. The committee itself was set up by the president. The IMC itself was set up by the president. So he doesn't have the power to set up another committee. And the no vice president has ever set up a committee in this republic. You are aware of that fact. Again, it's a fact. That one is a constitutional fact. We cannot play with it. It's a fact. Bawumia never set up a committee. It was a government headed by President Akufo-Addo. That's not to mean that the committee that was set was a bad thing. If it was set, it was set. And I'm saying that Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia never set up a committee. That fact should be stated. Again, he said there are two determinants of pricing of crude, all right, or the finished product. There are two determinants. He did mention one, exchange rate. Two, the international crude prices. No, he said exchange rate and international crude prices. He didn't add the levies, being international or local. So he didn't add the cost of transportation. He didn't add all of that. I do have a bit of understanding with crude pricing. Now let me come back to the topic, the point I was making to him that he fails to, or he doesn't want to understand or admit. I'm saying that there are a lot of factors that determine the prices of crude or the finished product or what we at the pump price. But then again, none of them supersedes the international world market price of crude. Because if you are spending 4 billion, in 2025, government spent around 4.5 billion in the protection of petroleum products. all right, 4.5 billion in the position of petroleum product. And that's at that time, crude was selling around $58 per barrel. So if now, as we are heading towards this war, we now move to $100 per barrel. What it means is that government will not be spending 4.7, government will be spending around 6.7. That is going to have
an increase.
That's an increase, and it's going to have an effect on your forest. When it have an effect on your forest, it's going to have an effect at the pump price too. When there's an effect at the pump price, the consumer will bear the cost of it, and that will lead to what? Inflation, because price of goods and services will go up, because those people will also factor in the cost of transportation on their product. Isn't it so? So that is the point that I keep making to him, that crude prices is the dominant determinant of pricing. When it has to do with finished product. No, I tell you that.
I agree.
No, he's saying that it's due to their prudent economic management. And I'm saying that's a lie.
So if they set $100,
because no, if it's $100,
so the argument was that
if it's $100, no,
it's $100.
The argument was that we were able to bring the dollar down and make that fall.
No. Even with the current exchange rate, if the price of crude move to around 120.
Whether the dollar is 10 or 11,
it will still have a significant impact. No, God, now you are going to. So what are you talking about?
About the differentials.
What is the differential?
At some point,
so you buy it because the dollar, the city is doing better.
At some point,
what are you talking about? I am saying that no matter what,
me now needing 10
the exchange rate will not beat the price of crude.
There is a difference.
It's a lie.
And it is a fact.
The exchange rate can never beat the price of crude. No.
It has a direct impact.
When it's set at 120, we are going to have the forest also going up.
Has a direct impact.
They are going to be spending to buy it also going up.
Direct impact. What are you talking about?
That will also affect the pump price. It is just as simple.
Okay.
No matter how good your exchange rate is. And the crude price.
You're shouting not changing the fact. You're shouting not changing the fact.
What are you saying? What are you saying?
So gentlemen, let me engage our viewers a bit.
You're shouting not changing the fact.
I think great. Let me engage our viewers a bit. I'll come back and then we'll continue with the conversation. This one says, Alhaji Hamza in Pekfam says, good morning, my brother. KMJ, functionaries and for that matter, communicators of the NPP should stop insulting the intelligence of Ghanaians and credit us with the little respect we deserve. In 2024, the total registered voters in the election was about 50,000. But yesterday, by election, we had a little over 10,000 coming out to vote. So the difference was almost 40,000 voters who couldn't turn out to vote. The NDC in 2024 had 70% of the vote, whilst NPP had 30%. But in yesterday, by elections, the NDC had 63%, whilst the NPP had 24%. So what is the NPP guy in the studio talking about? He should check his facts before going public. I also heard him talking about jobs for the youth. Please, he should tell your listeners what was the unemployment rate when they won power in 2016, and what was the unemployment rate in 2024 when they were leaving power. They should give us a break. We have a country to govern. All right, let me go to this one. This one says that KMJ, the NDC winning the Ayawaso East constituency was a foregone conclusion, but the NPP under Akufo-Addo's 8 rule, they meted out to us an economic genocide, thievery, and incompetence, so it would take a while for the NPP to be forgiven. The only straw available for the NPP is to play shenanigans with the cocoa farmers to win their sympathy, but will not gel. Mohammed's economic successes has made the NPP relevant, except that I am not enthused by Mohammed's fight against Galamsey. KMJ, you're down to earth host. Good morning. Charles Champon Sefi Umjebre in the Bibiani Ayawaso municipality. All right, thank you. And I like the fact that you do a positive and then you do a negative. As much as you belong to the party and you think that the party is doing well in certain areas, there are certain areas if the party is not doing well, we should be bold enough to let the party know that, you know what, I understand you're doing A, B, C, D, yes, and I admit, but there are other things that you are doing which is totally wrong that we want you to correct. The issue of Galamsey, I think the government can do way better than they are doing right now, and that I totally agree. This one says, KMJ, please tell the NPP guy that the NDC is focusing on developing the country, not their propaganda. Robert Yankson in Cape Coast sent in that. Let me go to Nana Kwamwa, and he says that as the NPP starts its internal reorganization, Ablekuma Central needs a stronger, resilient person as the organizer. Choose Eric Arthur Dodu as organizer for Ablekuma Central constituency. And special greetings to Adrian Kessie, John Boydu, incoming MP. We're going to be seeing more of these campaigns coming through our messaging in the coming months. So yes, it's fine. Good morning, KMJ. The NPP communicators are still not learning. They should know that the Ghanaian voter knows more in recent times and can read well between the lines. And if they are not strategic and apologetic in whatever they say, they will continue to remain in opposition for long. I tell you, my brother, Jerry in Kofroidia sent in that one. Jerry, good morning to all the people of Kofroidia doing the viewing this morning. Eunice from Ascent South says, naturally, drops in your voter turnout are experienced in any by-election. Thus, the momentum in general elections is different from by-elections. Besides, the by-election happened in a predominantly Muslim constituency where Ramadan is being observed. Complacency was also another undeniable factor. Most NDC members felt that Baby Jamal was going to win anyway, regardless of the turnout. It could have been worse. Some of these things, when you're not careful, the dynamics change and then it start affecting you. But yes, if you have an overwhelming, hope that the person is likely going to be picking it up, then you might as well just want to stay back. It goes on and says, now the NPP dropped by from 29% to 23%, which is worse than NDC dropping from 70% to 63%. The NDC dropping from the previous 70 to 63% means it only lost 10% of previous votes. But NPP, that dropped from 29% to 23% means it lost a whopping 20.68% vote. And don't forget, there was another NDC candidate who went independent. This logically means some votes dropped from NDC's candidate to the independent candidate, another NDC member. Okay, so yes, some analysis over there. I kind of like the analysis, by the way. Thanks for sending that through. OPK Patriotic Voices Goals, who says, regards to Honorable George Boache, former regional minister, and Honorable Hawa Kumsin, incoming national women's organizer. Mahama and NDC are losing their popularity at Ayawaso East. As yesterday, they are 70% vote in 2024. Elections tend to be 63% in the by-elections. And the youth in the constituency were complaining of jobs, and they have voted for NDC since 1992, but we are not seeing any development over there, with some asking for money before they will vote. So it's a warning to them. And it goes on and says, to them on their bad governance in Galamsey is in its worst state, with 9 people dead and over 30 others injured in a Galamsey pit at Atane, Honorable Collins Dowder constituency. 9 most were attacked in this year. So where are the CSOs, Catholic bishops, conference chiefs, imams, pastors, labor unions, UTAG, who were on Nanado's neck to declare a state of emergency on Galamsey? The time is now. They should put pressure on Mahama and NDC government to do it, because Ghanaians are dying on Galamsey, and we need Dr. Baumia and NPP MPs to save us from this bad governance in 2028. Regards to Honorable, okay, already done that for you. Let me go here. Alassam Sese from Zeno Central says, good morning to everyone. The state should make sure those state officials who have been arrested for the involvement of Red and Tramadol are being prosecuted. And the GRA statement is incomplete, because we need to know the individual or the company who imported those containers. And a friend of mine tells me that as for what do you call it? The Ghana port, it's a crime scene. I'm like, okay, how so? And that report that came out yesterday from the port GRA thing, that's what the guy is making reference to. So yeah, this one is from Master Plan, and it says that Ghana Statistical Service haven't stated anywhere in their report that over 1 million have found a job. Tamaklo should get his facts right. Which page of the report stated that it is the NDC that are cooking their figures? They should employ the teachers and nurses who completed school and are sitting home. The one job, 3 people, 3 shifts is nowhere to be found. He is still communicating like he is in opposition. He's even making the youth more angry. So sad for the ordinary Ghanaian youth. Master Planner Jr. In fact, he sent it to me personally, and I think I've addressed that with him, on WhatsApp as well. The president stated actually that according to Ghana Statistical, so yes, it's just that the fact check that is proven it false. But whether the president said it or quoted it or not, that was quoted. Yes, I've actually addressed that with him on WhatsApp. This one says, good morning, KMG and your panel members. Let me recollect Tamaklo in 2017 when Mahama lost the election with 1 million votes. NPP was happy. Who knows NPP at the end will lose miserable. They should use NPP as legion. They should stop tickling themselves while laughing in employment, infrastructure, roads, and or our water bodies, especially Galamsey is a problem. Youth in this country engaged in addicted drugs, is lack of jobs. We have given Mahama 4 years to fulfill his promise and stop talking. Mamudu Adam Zangbegu Boko sent in that. Good morning to the people of Boko. Nanado was the best president ever when it comes to life-changing policies. NPP provides DRIP, TVET, increase the salary to 25%, and almighty free SHS. No government in the history of Fourth Republic has or can do that, you mean to say. Let me go to teacher Kujo in Tepa, Enyinasusu. I always struggle with that Enyinasusu thing. Okay. The Ayawaso East seat is always safe for the NDC. Nothing surprising. The Lotto forecaster who predicted a 75% chance for the NDC has been disgraced. Greetings to Honorable Eric Nana Ajiman Prempe, MP for Afo North, and he goes on to also greet Dr. Baumia, Chairman of Dinamuko Kwapia, and all the others. Now, let me go to this one. It says, this guy is the most uninformed communicator I have ever seen, or he's having a short memory. As it was said by President John Mahama, we have sold our color TV for the black and white TV. As this buyer from Dafiama Busi Issa constituency in the Upper West region. You didn't state why you think he is what you're describing him, though. Good morning, Mr. Host. Sometimes it's hard listening to people like Tamaklo of NDC. He's insulting the intelligence of well-meaning Ghanaians. Does he know the number of teachers who were on payroll but haven't received their salaries for the past 3 months? Where is the automatic promise of employment to teachers and nurses? Is he aware of the increment in utilities and all government services? Is he aware also that transportation is all-time high, even though the pumps have reduced their prices? Please tell him to stop doing the tomato politics, because he doesn't know the realities at the market. Talk is cheap, as we always say. If not, he wouldn't be talking like that. Kinsley Abaka in Asing Manson sent in that. Let me go to Stephen Opoku, and he says, good morning, KMG and your crew. Baba Jamal winning is not a news at all. Because any of his contestants in the NDC primary would have won as well. My problem with him is going the way of the NPP of vote buying in the NDC primary election, which in my view caused a reduction in the vote percentage yesterday. Stephen in Pon Katamasu sent in that. Let me probably do the last one and then we'll move on and get to wrap up. Many of the messages, but I'm not sure we'll be able to do. Mr. Host, did I hear the NPP communicator saying if there's an election today, the NPP would win? Please tell him to tell that to the Myrenes. After his party punished Ghanaians and messed up the economy, he's saying they would come back in 2028. What a communicator! Kindly tell the NPP communicator that if this is the way they are going to propagate their message, I'm sorry, they would be in opposition for a long time. Ghanaians don't need NPP anymore. Today we are comfortable under President Mahama, and anybody NDC presents in 2028 is going to win. Chairman Ola Bote Williams. I love his name, so even when I'm pressed for time, I try as much as possible to read his message. Ola Bote Williams. That's our viewers joining us this morning, sending in their thought as well. And big thank you to all of you for doing so. Don't forget, News Flash is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise, Still Phones, Papa Pafie, and also Koa Natural Fruit Juice. We're grateful to these brands. We're wrapping up, and so I'm going to take up your wrap-up comments. Maybe I'll start with you, Ray, to do it. You've got only 2 minutes to do that.
Yeah, thank you very much, KMJ. And so I want to do a very simple layman analysis. Okay, let's say that an international commodity, okay, is selling for $10. Okay. At some point in time, you needed 170 cedis to purchase that international commodity. Then it comes to 140 Ghana cedis to purchase the same commodity. Now a government comes in place. Now you need 100 cedis to purchase that commodity.
Which you would have used 100 and something.
170 cedis to purchase.
Yeah.
That is a retainer of what? 70 cedis, isn't it the case? Now, the commodity on the international market has gone up to $20. So now, instead of 100 cedis, you now need 200 cedis to purchase the same commodity. Is that the fault of government? That is the international dynamic. So even though the government has its affairs in check at home, the international pricing dictates that you now need 200 cedis to purchase that same commodity. When at some point in time, let's say the dynamics that prevailed, say 2-3 years ago, where you needed 140 cedis, if that price on the international market doubles up, you would need 240 Ghana cedis. I don't know if you're getting the analysis that I am making. And so, yes, two of the major components in our floor pricing has to do directly on the international pricing and the exchange rate.
Okay.
And obviously, you cannot take away from the NDC the fact that we have strengthened our cedi. The cedi has gained its strength 40% against, or it has appreciated by 40% against the US dollar. It is unprecedented in the history of the Fourth Republic. And also,
your 2 minutes up.
Yes, one minute. Please, 1 minute. On the issue of unemployment, okay? No government. Hold on. No government. 1 minute. I beg you. 30 seconds. Oh, wait. I beg.
I don't have time.
30 seconds.
No. Oh, the most important thing is what you have done.
I beg. 30 seconds. No government comes to power, okay, and solves an unemployment situation in 1 year. The NPP, when they had 8 years, they couldn't deal with the menace of unemployment. They took unemployment from 8.4% to 14.7%. And so they today, who have been so incompetent in government, cannot now claim all of a sudden that they know more about how to solve unemployment than the NDC. Until a contrary fact, empirically so-called, has come to dispute the statistics of the Ghana Statistical Service, we hold it as true. Thank you.
Great. Let me have you have 2 minutes to also do this, please.
What Raymond is dealing with is called incumbency delusional syndrome.
Okay.
When you are in power, you are being delusional. That is what he's dealing with now. Let me tell you something. I'm staying and I still maintain that the crude prices, international world market prices, has a direct effect on inflation rate in your country and also your forex rate in your country. Because we spend so much
there in forex liquidity.
When you're talking about
Ray.
Okay.
I'm saying that the crude price, international world market prices, has so much effect on your inflation rate and also your exchange rate. So anytime the prices of crude goes up, pump prices will also go up because you need more money to import it. So if you need more money to import it, you also need more forex. So you are going to deplete your forex, thereby depreciating your currency. So the position that I'm holding, and I still hold on to, is that whatever that they are enjoying, even though they are pumping more dollars into the forex market, at the end of the day, they enjoy the prices of finished product coming down due to the fact that the crude market price also came down by half from what we took or what we had in 2022, 2023, and 2024. Again, it will also be delusional for him to think that their government still enjoys.
You are giving more minutes.
Their government still enjoys the goodwill that they had in the 2025.
No. He's speaking for more than 5 minutes now.
Look, if this paper was so goodwill in 2025, this is what is left.
Okay, very well. That's a good
abundant forex liquidity.
Now, let me say,
we have abundant
small check. Raymond, you are not in opposition. You are in power. You are not in opposition. Stop.
There is abundant forex liquidity.
Let me say. No, gentlemen. No, stop. Guys, you guys. No, Raymond, I think you guys have done well. Why are you messing up your reputations now?
It's fine.
Yes, you comported yourself very well. I'm impressed, and you're messing it up.
He wants to mess it up.
Let me say a big thank you to Small Chick, and she gave me my smoke that I'm wearing for today's show. You can call her on 0544-653916. That's 0544-653916. She actually does the kind of smoke that the president wears. If you see what I'm wearing, you definitely attest to it. Very quality, and so please call her Small Chick 0544-653916. A big thank you to Raymond. A big thank you to Atick, Professor Ezekiel, and also Madi for joining me this morning here on the show. And also don't forget that we've got something special that is coming. The launch of the Gomoa Central Carnival is happening today at the Labadi Beach Hotel at 5 p.m. We're going to have the grand launch of it. It's happening on the 2nd to the 5th of April. Kwamkrom is the Gomoa Central Grand Carnival. It's a 4-day national cultural entertainment and lifestyle festival, and it's going to be staged for the Easter weekend in Gomoa Central constituency, and under the auspices of the Honourable Member of Parliament over there, Honourable Kwame Asario, being A+. The carnival blends heritage, royalty, street culture, music, and visual arts, tourism, and brand activation into one destination experience. Don't forget, we've got artists Samini Kobna of Rian Ponsa, KK Fosu, Dada Afko, Bisa, Kede, Kofinti, Bless, Kwampa, all of these coming through. Bravo, Kwakese Keche, Oshami Kwame, Sister Fia, Tiny, Shatawale, Kwame Eugene, Amrado, Naro X, Sefa, VIP. All of these artists will come through together for us to make this happen. It's a Kwam Chrome, and that's what we're talking about.